Remember in Psalm 4, David is talking to different people. He starts out talking to God, and then he talks to his enemies, and then he talks to his friends, and then he talks to God again. So verse 1, he's talking with God, but then in verses 2 and 3, he talks to his enemies. And one of the things he says to his enemies is, "Why do you turn my glory into shame?" Which sounds like David's bragging a little bit, being so glorious, but that's not the way that he's using the word glory, if it came across that way. He's using the word glory in the sense of what I glory in is what I put my hope in. It's what I put my trust in. And he's letting us know that his enemies, the people making life difficult for him, they were making fun of him for trusting in God. And it's not difficult to understand why they were making fun of him for trusting in God, because David is feeling distressed, he's feeling troubled, maybe feeling anxious or worried. And it doesn't seem like God is doing anything. In other words, they couldn't see David's God acting like a good God. And that's one of the hard things about life, even for the Christian. We live by faith. We live by faith, believing that God is good even when we can't see him doing good things. Believing that God is listening and listening with care even when he doesn't seem to be paying any attention. Believing that God is active and working all things out for good, even if nothing good is happening. We live by faith. Like David's enemies, we can't see our God working, not all the time. And yet we glory in him. We hope in him. We put our trust in him. Jesus used that same word. Different language, same word. The word glory, when he described the day that he would come back. He was telling his disciples, it's like, one day, it's like, you're going to see me coming back. When the day that I appear in my glory, surrounded by the angels, then the whole world will see. Then the whole world will see that, well, just who God really is, how powerful he really is, how supreme above everything he actually is, how active he really was. Then they will see that David and all believers were right to glory in God, to put their hope and their trust in him. And not just because he is great and real and powerful and active and doing all those wonderful things that we want him to do, but because, well, the whole world is going to see something else on the day that Jesus returns in his glory. And Jesus talked about that too, with his disciples. The night when Jesus knew their lives were going to become very different very soon. When they were going to suffer a lot of pain. When there were going to be a lot of surprises. When their friend was going to die right in front of them. The one about whom they would have thought, that'll never happen. It was going to be hard for them to see something glorious too. They would also have to live by faith. And Jesus knew that, which is why he looked at them and he said, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God. Trust in me. In my Father's house are many rooms. I'm going there to prepare a place for you. And then I'll come back to take you to be with me, so that you also may be where I am." Of course, what is that place where Jesus is? It's glorious. No more death, or sadness, or sorrow, or pain. Just a place where God wipes every last tear away. Your glory is coming. Rest well tonight, my friends.